hi, Mr. Romano.
Hey, hi.
I'm Hank.
Hank, how are you?
Everybody calls me Scooter.
Okay. Scooter?
Yeah.
What's with the camera?
Oh, that's a behind-the-scenes crew.
We're doing a behind the scenes of the behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's it, huh?
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the script.
Hi, I'm Ray Romano, and I'm here in the frozen tundra to give you a first look at the new movie Ice Age. Yeah. Was it written for me, this thing?
No,
No, just because people are gonna expect funny, you know? You gotta read things before you say yes to them. You know, I know it's kind of late in the game, but I'm wondering maybe, is there like a better way we can open this? Maybe?
We are the weirdest herd I've ever seen. Ow!
You gonna get some of this?
No, I already ate. Yeah. That's good right there.
Right here?
Yeah.
All right. That's not mammoth meat, is it?
No, that's chicken.
I know. As a joke, I play a mammoth in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
You know, when they told me they wanted me to do Ice Age, at first I said, yeah, you know, my idea of fun is not freezing my butt off in subarctic temperatures.
But I thought Ice Age was one of those cool computer animated movies.
Yes, Scooter, that's, I was just joking there again. You gonna film me eating?
Prepare for the Ice Age!
Ice Age?
I've heard of these crackpots.
Subarctic temperatures will force us underground for a billion years!
Oh, that's perfect. It's during the Ice Age, where all the other animals are heading south. I'm not going. And Manfred is heading north, just because everyone else is heading south.
Move your issues off the road!
If my trunk was that small, I wouldn't draw attention to myself, pal. And meets up with Sid. Get off me! Sid is like a thorn in Manny's side.
Check this out.
He's doing it for attention, just ignore him.
Sid is really lovable. Just one of those guys who is always a little lazy, a little self-interested. Excuse me, ladies. You just keep marinating and I'll be right back.
And they end up finding a baby.
We should return him.
So it's their journey to find the tribe of humans, and along the way they meet up with Diego.
You two are a bit of an odd couple.
There is no us.
I see. Can't have one of your own, so you want to adopt. You know, saber-toothed tiger. Good looking, loved by men, adored by women.
Oh, yeah. Nice try, Bucktooth.
You calling me a liar?
I didn't say that.
You were thinking it.
I don't like this cat. He reads minds.
We thought, well, what's the best way to give the Ice Age a present? Let's set it against one of the animals you might find there. So we came up with this hapless saber-toothed squirrel that's just trying to bury his nut like all squirrels do for the winter. It's a comedy of peril. And he's the star. He goes through one kind of Roger Rabbit or Wile E. Coyote situation after another.
So, who is the hardest person to work with on the movie?
I'm not one for gossip. Besides, they were great. It was a great cast, very funny cast. Well, wait a minute. You know that character Scrat? That little saber-toothed squirrely thingy that runs across through the movie? Yeah, he ticked me off. Kept upstage in all my scenes. But everybody else was good. Leguizamo, Leary, they were all amazing, yeah. But that little chump Scrat.
It's a lot of fun trying to see who out there would match the characters, and I think we got great voices for our movie.
They're all bringing their own special thing to each role.
You're an embarrassment to nature. Do you know that?
Ray has a great comedy voice, but he also has a little bit reserved cynicism.
It was fun just playing this character. I mean, you know, on TV I play this kind of guy who tries to get everybody to love him. And here's this personality who doesn't care about anyone.
Thanks for waiting.
3,
2, 1. Sure is faithful. I didn't like the fact that after the first time they saw me, they said we have to make his trunk bigger. What's up?
Hey, does this look like a petting zoo to you, huh?
John has a little streetish delivery that makes Sid a slow mover and a fast talker.
These are those important animation moments. Don't spear me! Oh, ugh. This is the problem. What I did was just did all kinds of voices. I did deep, really deep voices. I did southern voices. And then eventually I saw a sculpture of it and I saw the teeth and I figured, you know, those big teeth, if you have big teeth, it would make you kind of talk a little bit like this. So we started going with the lateral lisp. And so I ended up talking like this as Sid the Sloth. It's okay, look, the tigers are just playing tag with the antelope. With their teeth.
Come on, Sid. Let's play tag. You're in.
And we thought of Dennis Leary when we had our character because he puts on a real tough exterior, but you can tell that he really cares. And he brought that to Diego.
Okay. You don't work with the other people. You're not in the room with the other people. And the timing, it's very hard to imagine the timing work, but it does.
Diego, spit that out. You don't know where it's been.
Boy, for a second there, I actually thought you were gonna eat me.
I don't eat junk food.
You kind of revert back to when you're a child and playing in your room and you got imaginary friends. Did you have an imaginary friend? I had an imaginary friend. I still have one. Hi, Stoney. How are you?
That's it. You're out of the herd.
I guess they want to use the snow effect during the part of the special where they highlight the research that went into creating the world of the Ice Age, you know?
Yeah.
Give it that sort of air of authenticity. Yeah, that'll play.
If we're gonna make a movie about the Ice Age, that the Ice Age itself should be a character. And we started concentrating on mammoths and sloths and tigers and saber-toothed squirrels that lived there.
We started from like the drawings. We started from like just to get a feel for what kind of characters we're gonna be working with. So we looked at a lot of books, Museum of Natural History, and we went through the Ice Age part of it, which was amazing.
Hey, look at that, dinner and a show.
I know that some of our colleagues at other studios, when they set a movie in Paris, they take a trip around the world with their sketch pads and they draw. Ours happens in a world that passed away 20,000 years ago, and so about all we had available to us was a trip to the American Museum of Natural History, where the mammoths and sloth bones are.
I'm putting sloths on the map.
Yeah, why don't you make it realistic and draw him lying down?
And make him rounder.
I forgot how to laugh.
We should be as accurate as we can as when we portray the Ice Age for our audience, because people really haven't been there before. They should know that it really wasn't that long ago. And our anthropologist told us that, you know, really pretty much you can do anything you want. Just please don't put any dinosaurs in the movie. There weren't any dinosaurs. They were millions of years ago.
How do we know it's an ice age? Because of all the ice!
You sure I need the hood?
Here's your soda, Mr.
Oh,
Romano.
thank you. Oh, could I get some ice?
There's no ice.
On this set? Are you kidding me?
It melted.
All right, whatever. All right, listen to this. How does this sound? Taking the research and bringing it all to life was just a simple matter of state-of-the-art computer animation.
What we've seen happen recently is a growing excitement about computer-generated imagery. And this film has really spectacular visuals.
When I heard that Chris Wedge was going to direct it, they gave me a video of his work, which was Bunny that won the Oscar, the animated short, and it was fantastic. It was so funny and sad and so lifelike.
At Blue Sky, we've been developing animation technology for about 15 years. We've been focusing the technology on character animation, applying it to TV commercials and effects in movies. So we did Aliens for Alien Resurrection, and we did things for Star Trek, and a movie called Joe's Apartment, which I happen to love, singing and dancing cockroaches.
Ew! Yuck! Ew! I mean, my goodness.
The software we've developed is a much more complete simulation of the way light works in the world. We have engineers on our staff that understand the physics of energy and light, and they program this into the software so it looks like something that could be in the room with you.
Touch me and you're dead.
No, you say that, but you don't mean it. In computerized animation, you do the voice, and then they try to imagine what you would look like saying those things.
We have the soundtrack in the scene where we're working with it constantly. How they deliver the line is how we know how much emphasis to put on a certain emotion.
Where's the baby? There he is.
You have a very cruel sense of humor. 1, 2, 3.
Computers do a lot of work, but fortunately, it's the busy work. The animators act. The computer really has become more the strings on the puppet or the pencil for the artist. At night, computers here busily coloring in the pictures.
As animators, we all got a little bit of actors inside of us, and then we have to convince the people that the characters are really acting. It's like you have bad acting, good acting, and we're hoping that our animation is good acting, and we push for that.
Spoils, worthy of such a noble...
The whole movie's basically a big special effect. I mean, everything is generated. You get water, snow, environments, pretty difficult stuff.
It's the latest in animation. I mean, you haven't seen anything like this. It's so lifelike, the hair and reflections in the water and the sunsets. The environment is just so unbelievable. It's so different than anything you've ever seen before. Oh, I'm a genius.
Ray, you got your lines?
Yeah, sure.
Step forward, please. All right, everybody ready? Roll, please.
Ice Age behind the scenes special, scene 1, take 1.
And action.
Hi, I'm Ray Romano, and I'm here in the frozen tundra to give you the first look at the new movie, Ice Age.
Cut. Great. Ray, good working with you. Thanks so much. All right, we got everything we need. Check the gate.
Well,
Let's get out of here.
You kidding me, right? What do you mean? That's it? Why? Is it like a union thing? Why are we leaving? All right, we're done, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, you want to go get a burger?
Yeah, I'm full. Thank you.
You need a ride?
I'm good, thanks.
Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? I'll call you. I got your number. Welcome. This is Romano.
Romano. Yeah.
Romano. Excuse me, Miss Romano.
You see that nut that went by?
Who?
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Let me tell you something. You tell this director he's got a tough act. He'd already had a pretty successful history of working with animals, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know my lines that well.
My name's Chris Wedge. I'm the director of Ice Age. I've been making animation since I was about 12 years old. My whole reason for starting up an animation company with my friends was to do cool stuff. We didn't think about how we were going to make money at all, and actually we starved for 2 years. One way or another, got to the point where our company could make a feature movie. But from the beginning, we were thinking about short film ideas. I was, anyway. I knew we were working on this lighting technology that would make it really look natural and real. ultimately this film became Bunny. This was just a fun little project for me to reach back and kind of explore that world that I think I just have in dreams anymore. And it won an Academy Award. Ultimately, I think we got enough attention so that we got this feature film. Ice Age, the concept was kicking around at Fox Animation, which is a division of Fox, by one of the producers there, Laurie Forte. It was her idea to set a movie in the Ice Age.
I actually developed the idea, Ice Age, with executives here at Fox, and I oversaw the scripting of it, and we developed the characters and the story, and ultimately we decided to do it as a CG animated feature, and we brought Chris Wedge into it and Blue Sky into it, and it just everything turned out, everything just worked well.
So 2 or 3 things drew me to the project in the first place. One was that I thought the story had good, simple, structural bones. Characters were very well defined. They're 3 kind of disparate outcasts.
You're hanging out with us now, buddy. Dignity's got nothing to do with it.
The setting, the Ice Age, was an interesting one because no one had been there, really, on a movie screen.
Prepare for the Ice Age!
There was the setting, the story. The third thing was that the studio was interested in doing it, so we took the opportunity.
Yeah, mush!
Hey! Oh, yeah.
It's 5:10, take 1.
You ready? Rolling, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're rolling.
I'm sorry. Something like that? These are those important animation moments that are just vocal utterances.
So the voice actors, you know, it's one of the considerations that we make along the way, and we bring them in as early as we can. While we're reading the script, we're thinking of names. As we're designing the characters, we're thinking of names, and then ultimately we go out and try to get people interested. On Ice Age, we were very fortunate. We just got a great cast.
Gonna get every angle of ugly you can get in here. I read the script, great script. Well, that was impressive. They must have needed a guy with a stupid sounding voice, and I said yes, and now I'm just waiting to be fired.
Oh, you think that's funny? How about this? Maybe a little snack for the owls.
The character they wanted me to play kind of reminded me of my father.
Don't make me reach back there.
Yeah, well, he started it.
I don't care who started it. I'll finish it.
I told my father he could live with us for 2 weeks. That helped until we said, okay, I got the smell down.
Humans are disgusting.
I like the idea. I like the basic premise of it.
Name's Diego, friend.
And I also like the fact that, you know, it involved Ray and John.
Oh no! A tiger! Help!
I mean, I've been the ladybug to a whole generation of kids. So it's a little bit cooler to be the saber-toothed tiger, you know what I mean?
Leave the mammoth alone.
My own personal preference is to have the voice actors do their natural voice, but not too broad.
Sid! Excuse me, ladies. You just keep marinating and I'll be right back.
Sid is such a broad character, though, that we felt we wanted to add a little something to his voice.
Hey, still dreaming. They headed north 2 hours ago.
I love cartoon voices, and you know, to me it was something really important to do. And that's why I take it so seriously, and I love to do it. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. Look, the tigers are just playing tag with the antelopes. With their teeth. I know everybody comes up to me and says, are you the weasel? I go, no, I'm a sloth. I'm a prehistoric sloth. You know, Jurassic, Cretaceous. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to act smart. With my little stick and my highly evolved brain. Ow!
John was amazing. At the very beginning of the project, he put together what, you know, amounted to almost a term paper on the Ice Age, at least on his character.
I know sloths usually talk slower and move like what? If I talk like this through the whole movie, it wouldn't really be funny, would it?
I forgot how to laugh.
It would take forever, and I wouldn't have as many lines. They gave me some drawings, some pictures of Sid, what he would look like. What I did was, I gave the director like 40 voices. I didn't know what would work, so I just threw him everything, you know, really high-pitched voice.
And he read someplace that they would store chewed up leaves in their cheeks.
And I was like, when they store the food in the cheeks,
and so I think that's where this idea about talking that way came.
I don't like this cat. He reads minds. Wow! You have to really create this persona, and it's got to be full. From now on, you'll have to refer to me as Sid, Lord of the Flame. Otherwise, it's really flat and boring. I mean, all you got to do is watch a lot of Mel Blanc, and you get the technique. Mel Blanc is a god to me. Okay, so where are the sloths? You never see any sloths in these things. Have you ever noticed? Oh, look, Manny, a mammoth. Hey, look at this big, fat, ugly one. Looks just like you. It looks, oh, and he's got a family. It's really trippy to do animation. When I was gonna do it, I thought you did it to the animated picture already. No, you do it in a room by yourself, no other actors, nothing, just an empty room and a mic, and you just have the script in front of you. And then they start drawing to the emotion in your voice.
I'll bet that wasn't in the script. It's very weird doing it with no one there. And you have all these scenes that are big and physical. You have to stay straight. And, you know, plenty of times they have to tell me, you turned. And I'm like, well, I'm wrestling a lion.
So you're kind of basically crazy. You just hear voices, you see things, but it frees you. Gotcha! Ow! Ooh! Ow! Daisy! Ow! Oh! Ooch! Ow! Oh! The baby! I know. Before all of a sudden they come and get me with the white coats and all that. Yeah, the kid couldn't possibly know, but I knew I smelled that food. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if the three of us were in a room together, I think they probably don't want that. That'd probably be a real nightmare. We'd never get anything done. That's why they did that. Okay, I just figured that out.
Well, maybe they can fix it in post. In the beginning, I'm like, boy, am I getting this? Because it didn't sound right, and you know, it's because it's so choppy and it's in pieces.
But as the work progresses and they can see the effect of their voice with the animation we've created and the interaction with the other characters that is, for the most part, created in an editing room.
Oh, the sensitive ones get eaten.
Don't you have meat?
The voice recording goes on for almost the entire length of the production. Part of that is because we're constantly working on the story and coming up with new material.
There's one thing we're going to add that's not in here. In the
director, Chris, is very good, and he kind of reads me in and sets up what's going on, you know, because he's seen it and he's heard it in his head, and I'll defer to him.
All right, now we're going to move on to 210. We're going to move on to that cave painting scene. They're going to walk into this thing, and it's going to be one of those, like, Spielbergian moments when you walk into, like, the crypt that no one's seen in thousands of years.
Oh, so it's like an awe thing. Like,
at the very beginning, it's awe. Whoa. Yeah, that's good.
Chris was really good because he really knew his script inside and out, and he knew, you know, the tone, which is really important. That's a tough job. Tough job.
You gotta watch those sloths. They get inside your head, man. They make you crazy. Yeah.
I know those sloths. They get inside your head.
Our actors were encouraged to do as much writing as they wanted to. A lot of that stuff is in the movie.
I'm not fat. It's all this fur.
All right, you have fat hair, but when you're ready to talk, I'm here. I knew I wanted to play an experiment as much as possible. I'll just get that baby. I'll just be getting that baby. And I said, look, I'll give you all kinds of choices. You pick the best, but I need to do... I gotta go from A to Z, because I love this stuff and I want it to be perfect, you know? This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem.
Yeah, well, that helps too, that we can just let go and riff a little, yeah. So I would just ad-lib on a line and do it over and over, you know, try a different line, a different line, a different line.
You're an embarrassment to nature. Do you know that? I'm ashamed to be breathing the same air as you. How do you look at yourself in the water hole every morning? Nature right now is not admitting to you.
He's up high, right? Yeah.
By the way, from this angle, you forgot something this morning.
I don't know what that means.
We probably won't use that.
No, we won't.
That's for the outtakes.
No,
that's for the outtakes.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They say they have it, but they lie to you. You getting this?
Yeah, yeah. I stepped on a couple of those. Can you give us like a hey or...
Yeah.
I've never directed a live-action movie before, but I can imagine what a lot of the differences are. When you watch an animated film, there isn't a single thing on the screen that you see that wasn't created by somebody. Every detail in the world, the faces and expressions of the characters, what they're wearing, what they look like, the clouds, the trees, everything's created by hand. Nothing comes for free. Part of the trick is surrounding yourself with really talented people. It's a huge collaborative effort.
You've got good heft in his shoulders.
At the very beginning, I wanted, at least for the look of the world, to be as authentic as I could. So we did a lot of research early on. You know, we took trips to the Museum of Natural History. At the end of the day, decided, you know, the Ice Age looked pretty much like the world looks today. I mean, without the houses and highways, but I mean, there has been 20,000 years of evolution since then, so the animals look different. But humans were pretty much like you and me without the Walkmans. What we ended up doing was stylizing quite a bit. We took what we had learned in our research and we just kind of styled it up to suit our story. In our exploration of what animals could exist back there, and we had just reams and reams of drawings by Peter de Sèvres, who designed all the characters.
Well, right here, I'm exploring the saber-toothed tigers in general. The advantage is we don't know for certain exactly how the extinct saber-tooths looked. So we have the latitude to completely change the pattern on them and the color on them. And in that way, we can get something a little more alien, a little more unusual.
Ooh, I can't wait to get my claws in that mammoth!
I'm trying to push it as far out there as possible. You know, obviously we want it to be unique.
Isn't there anyone who cares about Sid the Sloth?
His design is the most alien. I don't think anyone would really look at that and say, oh, that's a nice sloth. There are elements to him that are sloth-like, you know, the eyes all the way out here. But we've kind of combined a tree sloth and the extinct sloth that was like a bear, very big in the Ice Age. We kind of combined the two and come up with this thing.
You two are a bit of an odd couple.
There is no us.
There's Manny. He's been the toughest. He's been hard to distill.
You know, I don't like animals that kill for pleasure.
All my original drawings had him frowning and glowering and looking very menacing, but like most of the characters, he needs to be able to get softer and more appealing. So I have to, when I'm developing the character, I have to have both extremes in mind. For the secondary characters, we're using the weirdest animals we can find.
You can play Extinction later.
Okay.
As soon as we find something grotesque or really, really strange, we're very excited because we think, oh, of course, that would be great.
We are the weirdest herd I've ever seen.
In a quick explanation, we get a character that has controls built into it. We don't actually take a raw model and start moving it around and animating it. There's a whole department that just does, they're all phenomenal artists, and they actually put controls in the characters to allow us to move things around.
Here in the rigging department, we set up the controls for the animators. This includes not only the body controls, but the facial controls as well. The controls themselves number perhaps on the magnitude of about 1,000 different animatable attributes per character. Many of those attributes involved are as simple as jaw open, right outer brow razor.
Lifting the heel off, rolling off on the toes, rolling around the foot. We can rotate all the toenails themselves.
Each animator is assigned one shot, 1 or 2 or 3 shots. And they would have a little paper that would say, like, this is your shot, this is what comes before, this is what comes after. It gives you the outline of everything that's happening in that shot.
It's basically an empty set, and you're kind of free to start the performance.
From the beginning, we knew that we were going to have to depend on these characters to give us a lot of the comedy. Their acting style had to be appealing enough to help keep the film light in the moments that were required.
Oh no.
Once the characters were defined, the actors were defined, we started to study them more in order to come up with the way we're going to get the characters to move. In a way, we're all, like, in a way, actors, that we can make things move right. Visually, you should be able to watch the animation and relate to it, have fun with it.
The first thing that we did was create this opening sequence. I felt as though you sit down in the movie theater and you want to see Ice Age. I thought we should throw that right up there.
Well, the Scrat, right?
The Scrat, yeah, that was a real breakthrough, I think, because it was so tight in terms of storyboarding to layout to us. Bill Frake.
His boards were great.
His boards were amazing.
And we were a little bit scared that we were not going to do them justice. We always say, snappy timing. It's almost like a Warner Brothers, like, very quick sense of motion and quickness in the characters.
Yeah, because, I mean, that was really snappy.
The more we pushed it,
yeah.
I mean, the funnier it was.
And then that carried into kind of like an energy for the rest of the movie.
We had a couple of performance-like constraints. And one was that Manfred, just by nature of the type of animal he was, is kind of like a furry haystack. with 2 eyes. He can't use his hands to gesture. He can't see his mouth.
You have beautiful eyes.
Basically, we had to depend on his eyes for all the acting in the movie. And he has some of the most powerful moments, I think, and they're all communicated through his eyes. We had a lot of conversation about what those eye shapes should be and how we should use them.
Yeah, oh yeah. You know, the best references are our own faces.
Yeah.
That's where thumbnailing comes in handy. You can just draw out different little facial, you know, cartoon Manny heads and draw out different expressions.
This is an exploration of different expressions and attitudes on Manny. The trick is to somehow transfer that into the computer, but at least you're getting, it's like a shorthand, you get your thoughts down. You get fast feedback with the pencil and paper. It's immediate, it comes straight from your heart.
Where's the baby? There he is!
Cats are very tricky because they're very flexible, they're very sharp. So we really had to study them very hard in order to get like a good reference.
He was probably the most difficult to get physically right.
Yeah.
That pink thing is mine.
Plus, they've got these big sabers. Doing the mouth shapes around these big teeth, was, I know, a rigging challenge.
No one touches the mammoth until I get that baby.
I think the directors responded to the eye acting with Diego and the shiftiness. I mean, there were glances where he would deliver a line and then glance away at the character.
Go get lost in a blizzard. It's your choice.
It was just little beats like that came out, and we saw that was the direction to go in with Diego.
Hey, Uber Tracker, up front where I can see you.
Help me.
And for Sid the Sloth, pretty much, I think we look at ourselves for reference because since it was like a biped kind of like character. Look at Leguizamo, the way he acts, just as some sort of like reference.
I mean, everyone wanted to work on Sid because he was just like the comic sidekick, and there's just so much potential with the character. And John Leguizamo, of course, had just all these great takes.
Fish.
And the biggest challenge, I think, throughout that process wasn't so much the animals. It was, I think, maybe more the humans.
Humans were a big challenge.
They were a challenge.
They were the most difficult because when something isn't moving correctly. I mean, Sid, we could get away with a lot of stuff because, like I said, he's, kind of Chuck Jonesy or Warner Brothers-y. But the humans, people know human movement.
We use a digital camera to shoot ourselves, like moving around, running, throwing spears, or like reacting with each other and just trying to come up with a way that we moved.
The process is as malleable as you can make it. You can take a stab at a sequence, and if you don't like it, you can recut it. You can look at the animation on one day, change it, and it's a little bit different the next. It's really quite luxurious in that respect.
And I thought, whoa, she's gonna go praying mantis on me, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, if you find a mate in life, you should be loyal.
Well, I think mating for life is stupid. There's plenty of Sid to go around,
The very first technical challenge for us on this movie was creating a computer-generated movie that happened completely in a natural environment. It's a very small story that happens in a very big place. So I didn't want the environment, on one hand, to upstage the story at all. I wanted it to support it. So we came up with a style which is kind of the 3D equivalent to what Chuck Jones was doing in the Roadrunner cartoons, They're kind of sketches and outlines of the world, and the main focus is on our actors.
Slalom, baby!
We have focused our technology effort on creating worlds that look like they're lit very naturally. The challenges for us then were to create all the detail that you see when you walk outdoors in the Ice Age. There's a sequence in the movie that happens in the water, so we had to develop ways for our synthetic actors to interact with the water, way for the water to look, for splashes to happen. There's driving rain at one point, there's sleet, there's smoke, there's fire, there's snow for sure, there's blizzards, there's driving snow, there's characters running through the snow and splashing it up behind them. We've created technology that the technical directors can use as if they were photographers.
By the time that it's handed to us, all the animation is already completed. It's just in a very raw format. And so what we have to do is add in the lighting in order to get the proper mood and feel and kind of context of the shot so that it feels like it's really outside at noon or it's early morning or you're inside of a cave.
Basically, from the art department, we're given inspirational paintings. And through that and a discussion with the director, it's up to people like us to figure out what each sequence should look like specifically. Now it's time to figure out where does the key light go, what color is it, where does the fill light, what do the shadows look like. All these things have to be figured out.
As lighters at Blue Sky, we're really lucky because our renderer is so physically accurate that we can place lights and do things just like you would in the real world, and it pretty much comes out right.
The other part that we take care of is generating all these different kinds of effects. The effects team, they work on the general motion and geometry, and then these effects come to the lighting team, and it's up to us to integrate these effects into each of the shots in our sequences.
A lot of the most difficult things that computers are asked to do, we're doing in this movie.
Mush! Or not mush, either way.
You really start this project with an idea about what you want to do. And you have to have enough belief in that idea, because that's the one thing you're going to hold on to for the whole thing. It's like kind of having a child. You know, it starts out kind of blank, and then it starts to collect all sorts of input from the environment and a lot from you as a parent. It's like creating an organism that comes to life as you're working on it and then like takes off when you're done.
Come here, you little biped. Come here, you little wormy worm.
It's a classic, I can guarantee that. It's because it's got all this heart and all this emotion, and it's got all these really deep themes.
You didn't have to do that.
That's what you're doing, I heard.
It also has got really serious action to it. Comedy, wit, humor. What more do you want?
I have 4 kids. I want to have something that I can threaten them. You won't go to the premiere, so I have that for a couple weeks.
Whoa! Woo! Yeah! Who's up for round 2?
I think the next movie is probably bigger. We're a little scared right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty ambitious.
And we hope we don't have to do quadrupeds, but who knows? With the success of Ice Age, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Touch me and you're dead. Nah, I'm just kidding, you little knucklehead.
You know, I didn't want to take credit for it, but now that you're asking, I pretty much wrote the whole movie. The few Ray things that are funny I came up with, so I didn't mind doing it. I just did it for free. It's kind of a charity thing.
So when I was approached to do Sid the Sloth, I didn't know what to do with it because, you know, sloths don't move, they make no sounds, and they're really slow, and Sid had a lot of dialogue, so I didn't know what how I was going to do it. And plus, I'm a much more, how do I put it nicely about myself, kind of hyper, perhaps, person. So I didn't know how I was going to accomplish this, and I wanted to really create a character voice that would go with the images that Chris had developed with his Blue Sky crew. And they gave me sort of a sculpted piece and a couple of diagrams, and I had sort of an idea. And so I was in Australia doing Moulin Rouge, and on my mini disc, I did 30 voices of possible Sid choices. You know, I did the low voices, the high voices, the foreign comical voices. I did Looney Tune voices. Now, what you're about to hear are a couple of samples. Now, I did these really raw in my room. I didn't really have a lot to say. I was just experimenting for Chris and myself, so you're privy to stuff that I would never let anybody else hear. So this is me just goofing by myself, trying to find the voice.
Look, some promises are no big deal, believe me. I know. I promised my parents I would try working once in a while. I promised my first girlfriend we'd made for life. I promised myself that I'd lose 20 pounds by New Year's. But a deathbed promise, man, oh man.
Look, some promises are no big deal. Believe me, I know. I promised my parents I would try working once in a while. I promised my first girlfriend we'd mate for life. I promised myself I'd lose 20 pounds by New Year's. But a deathbed promise, oh man.
Some promises are no big deal. Believe me, I know. I promised my parents I would try working once in a while. I promised my first girlfriend we'd mate for life. I promised myself I'd lose 20 pounds by New Year's. But a deathbed promise? A deathbed promise? Man!
now look, some promises are no big deal, right? Believe me, I mean, I know. I mean, I promised my parents I would try working once in a while. I promised my first girlfriend we'd made for life. I promised myself I'd lose 20 pounds by New Year's. But a deathbed promise! Oh, man! Look, some promises are no big deal. I mean, believe me, I know. I promised my parents I would try working once in a while. Well, I promised my first girlfriend we'd made for life. I promised myself that I would lose 20 pounds by New Year's. But a deathbed promise, you gotta take a little serious, okay? I mean... Look, some promises are no big deal. Believe me, I know. I promised my parents I would try working once in a while. I promised my first girlfriend that we would mate for life. I promised myself I'd lose 20 pounds by New Year's. But a deathbed promise, oh, man.
And none of them seemed to please Chris or me. So I tell him, look, why don't you send me some documentary footage of sloths, right? So I watched some Discovery Channel footage of sloths, and trust me, it is not the most exciting thing to watch. I thought my TV was broken because they don't move at all. But before I turned it off, a couple hours later, it said that they stored food in their mouths. And when I started going around, walking around, pretending to have food in my mouth, I was going, food in my mouth, food in their mouths. And that's where the lateral lisp was born. And that's where the character started to evolve. And this is Sid the voice.